Welcome to this spooky episode of Mr. Frightmare, where we'll be sharing a terrifying horror story about the haunted house on a hill. This house has been abandoned for years, but its dark past still lingers on. The locals whisper stories of strange occurrences that have happened around the house and how it's haunted by the spirits of the former residents. Let's take a deep breath and venture into the depths of this house and uncover the mysteries of the past. Our story begins with a group of teenagers who are looking for an adventure. They've heard rumors about an old abandoned house on the hill, and decide to investigate. As they approach the house, they can see that it's dark, ominous, and in a state of disrepair. They break into the house and start exploring. As they make their way through the house, they find that it's much larger than they expected. The hallways are dark, and the air is thick with dust. Suddenly, they hear a faint whisper. They freeze, trying to pinpoint where it's coming from, but it's hard to tell. They decide to continue their exploration, and head upstairs. As they climb the stairs, they hear strange noises coming from one of the rooms. They open the door and find that the room is filled with antique dolls. The dolls seem to be looking at them, and one of them moves slightly. They quickly leave the room, but as they make their way down the hallway, they hear footsteps behind them. They turn around, but there's no one there. They continue down the hallway and hear the footsteps again, this time louder. They run down the hallway and find themselves in a large room with a fireplace. The fireplace suddenly lights up, but there's no one there to light it. They start to feel uneasy, and decide to leave, but the door won't budge. They hear a voice whispering, "You shouldn't have come here." They try to force the door open, but it's stuck. Suddenly, the room starts to spin, and they all fall to the ground. When they regain consciousness, they find themselves in a different room. The room is dimly lit, and they can hear the sound of water dripping. They start to explore the room and find an old diary on a desk. As they read through the pages, they learn that the house was once owned by a wealthy family. The family was known for their strange and eerie behavior. The father was a recluse and rarely left the house. The mother was rumored to be a witch who practiced dark magic. Their daughter, who was never seen, was said to be the most disturbed of them all. The diary describes how the daughter would often lock herself in her room, and strange noises could be heard coming from within. As they continue to read through the diary, they hear footsteps outside the door. They quickly hide under the bed, but it's too late. The door creaks open, and they can see a shadowy figure standing in the doorway. The figure approaches the bed and starts to lift the sheets. They close their eyes and try to remain silent, hoping that it's all just a nightmare. Suddenly, they hear the figure's voice, "Leave my house, or suffer the same fate as my family." They open their eyes and see the ghostly figure of the daughter standing over them. They quickly scramble out from under the bed and run towards the door. They can hear the daughter's ghostly laugh behind them as they make their way through the dark and winding hallways. The house seems to be alive, with doors slamming shut and windows breaking on their own. As they reach the front door, they realize that it's still stuck. They frantically search for another way out but can't seem to find one. Suddenly, they hear the daughter's voice again, "You will never leave this house alive." Panic sets in as they realize that they may never escape. They huddle together, waiting for the inevitable. But just as they think it's all over, they hear a loud crash from upstairs. The daughter's ghostly figure disappears, and the house falls silent. The group manages to force the front door open and runs out of the house. They look back at the house and see that it's starting to crumble. The ghosts of the family seem to have finally moved on, and the house is collapsing in on itself. The group looks at each other, still in shock from what they've just experienced. They know that they'll never forget the horrors they witnessed in that haunted house on the hill. Our spooky story is a reminder that sometimes, curiosity can lead to terrifying consequences. So, if you ever come across an abandoned house with a dark past, it's best to leave it alone and not disturb the spirits that reside within. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.